probably, I can't believe I lost everything. You may talk about how you feel, but you really don't know the deal till you lose everything. On TV, I saw the water rising on a rooftop, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 men screaming, help us please. My son got caught by his knees. I reached for his hand through the debris. Forgive me, save him please. What am I to do right now? All the cell phone lines are down. Oh yeah, all my life has been downtown. Now a ghost town.
Troubleshooter Tom Martino's been doing some tests on one that was developed in Colorado. Monday he showed us how the additive works, and now he joins us with a road test.
Yes, I showed how the oil additive called CLM, how it lubricates. It's made of millions of metal particles like powder, and I showed you how it plates the inside of your engine and fills in imperfections to provide good lubrication. Tonight we look at how CLM does on a track under very unusual circumstances. These cars are running without oil. We drained every drop out of them to see how long they'd last. One car was treated with CLM, one with a Teflon-based oil additive, and one with no additives at all. The makers of CLM say their lubricant is superior to any others on the market, and they say this test will prove it. CLM contains fine metal particles, so fine it resembles powder, and tests show that under heat and pressure of the engine, these particles form a kind of plating on internal parts. The inventors say that the soft metal plating is sacrificial in a sense because it takes a lot of the punishment caused by friction. In theory, the plating wears out instead of engine parts. Well, I wanted to see how a vehicle treated with CLM would hold up under severe conditions. So I took 3 vehicles in similar condition and drained every drop of oil out of them. One car, for comparison, was not treated with any oil additives, and it seized first without making a lap. Another car, for comparison, treated with Teflon, also gave out quickly, just a few feet more than the first car. But the pickup truck, treated with CLM, went around 1 entire lap and got a good start on a second lap. Then it stopped. But get this, the CLM engine was not damaged. We added oil to it, and it started right back up and is still running today. The other engines, however, were ruined. This doesn't mean, of course, we should run our engines without oil. This was just a test to show what kind of plating CLM does, what kind of lubricating it provides. Other tests show by Hauser Laboratories in Boulder and other labs say that it increases gas mileage and reduces emission. I do want to say, however, that there are some critics. Some say it'll ruin your engine. Although they haven't been able to back that up with tests, they do say it'll ruin your engine. Some critics say it'll void warranties. For that, you have to check with your manufacturer. Others say it just doesn't work. I don't know why, but that's what they say. What we found is it's a good lubricant, and that's about it. I'm not going to say it's a miracle product, but it does work, and the tests show it's a pretty good product.
Hey, New Orleans, welcome to another Where Family Matters and another unusual opening. We felt that it was important that you see this news story out of Boulder, Colorado, showing some test results, some actual test results by people just like yourself and myself. In studio today, we have with us Larry Milton. If you saw our last show, Larry was here with us telling us about his MAXI-MIZER product, which in the article, in the news report, you saw it being called CLM. You changed it to MAXI-MIZER, Larry. It's a more friendly name, it's an easier name for folks to remember and easier to market. Is that correct? That's correct.
It went from copper lead metals to metal-based lubricant, MBL, so on the lubrication side. MAXI-MIZER is our trademark for that technology. Now, in our last show, you talked about a lot of different things, but I want to get into the actual technology. We talked about the 6 problems with fuel and oil, and now I want you to tell us how this product, this technology, solves those 6 problems. Sure. First of all, it eliminates us of using expensive blends of fuel, premium, mid-grade, or diesel 1. It would also eliminate us from using additives into our bulk storage tanks. In other words, it would eliminate algae. We're not aware of as well that as far as using ethanol, ethanol deteriorates the coating, the inner coating of the tanks. So therefore, that's why you have rust inside out of the tanks. MAXI-MIZER catalytic technology, first of all, is one that has been studied, and it took over 10 years to formulate. It is a Nobel Prize winner. It also took an additional 12 years, 302 million miles of documented testing and scientific research by the top 2 independent laboratories.
Now, also, this technology just didn't come about. This was NASA technology that they kind of sort of discarded. Is that right?
That's correct.
Tell us that story.
Well, what we did is it was used in the solid fuel rocket motor program at NASA. It was taken from there due to the cancellation of the program. There we were able to burn the rockets from 3 seconds down to 1 second. After we implemented that, the system, the program was canceled. We went on to take the product to, we got a idea, let's try it in diesel fuel. We put it in. It took actually over 10 years to refine, but when we put it in there, we noticed the smoke reduction was over 50%. But the fuel economy as well was provided with a very inexpensive blend of fuel, diesel 2. So therefore, as we continued on, the formulation had to also address the other problems of fuel, and that's where we had the 6 there. Because of the difference in lubrication, we had also some of the other fuels, such as a diesel, what we call diesel 6 now, LSLA fuels, and low sulfur, low aromatic fuel. We can no longer use that because of the emissions, and also we went on to right now ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. What it does, it burns the fuel complete. In saying that it takes in regular combustion 10 milliseconds. Now, instead of if you use just a standard premium fuel, it burns it at 15.4 milliseconds, meaning that you have 5.4 of unburned fuel. That's where we have the emissions. As it collects, of course, that becomes excessive, and therefore this is where we have health problems. When using MAXI-MIZER, MAXI-MIZER is the only technology. As you know, we're trying to wait till the fuel is comes in combustion, and then we're down the line using DPF filters, diesel particulate filters,
to rid the emissions.
To rid the emissions. MAXI-MIZER changes everything at the molecular structure. It has a different type of bond. Now, as I said before, the scientist that invented this is a Harvard University chemist. He led the team to the formulation of MAXI-MIZER, and his name is, of course, Jack Kracauer. Okay, great gentleman and very astute man. He's also his formulations. He has over 20 patents, foreign and domestic, in combustion modification. So therefore, what we have done is we have brought a premium product that would not only allow us to burn fuel complete, which means that if we're also addressing the other dilemmas of the fuel, then with bulk storage, we also are eliminating some of the problems that we have there, as well as the problems we have in ethanol biodiesel fuels.
Explain to our audience how moisture affects the burning of your fuel.
Sure. As we all know, anytime we have a differential of 7 degrees in temperature, we have moisture condensation.
I don't know if we all know that, but okay.
Okay. All right. Well, what happens here is, as long as we have day and night, here in Louisiana, we have the moisture on the windows and so forth. And what happens here is that goes into the fuel. This degrades the fuel. It causes the fuel become less combustible and efficient in the burn. What MAXI-MIZER does with the different ones we have, it actually will eliminate the corrosion. So therefore, the moisture in it MAXI-MIZER has a process, and you can find this on the website as well. But that process is, it would take it in large globals, drop it down to the tank, yet it releases it back in balance with the fuel. Water isn't bad in fuel. It's only bad when it's not in balance with the fuel. That's why we have water injection.
Another thing I wanted to ask you about, those particles, those microscopic particles of copper and lead. I know that that's a premium part of the technology. Why don't you explain to our audience why that makes it work so well?
Sure. That is actually our lubrication process. The technology in our lubrication is a physical additive, meaning that it cannot change the API or the SAE ratings that we would gives us the standards on the oils.
And that's chemical based, right?
That's a chemical based additive. All of the lubrications are chemical based. What our technology does here is it is actually microscopic copper lead particles that would impregnate into the metal, become a part of the metal, meaning that it's sacrificial. So therefore, as the engine wears in a normal, it impacts into the metal, becomes a part of. In fact, that's what the metal is made of, what our technology is. So therefore, it wears out instead of the engine parts.
So the microscopic metal portions of copper and lead actually sacrifice themselves and save the engine itself.
That's what it does. Actually, you're wearing the, and that's why it would continuous use, and it's at a very minute. In fact, a minute amount that you use for an engine. Standard vehicle would use only 4 ounces for the oil. Okay, with the fuel catalyst, it's only 1 ounce per 20 gallons. So therefore, when we're looking at the implication of increase in fuel economy, we have over 10%, which we'll say we'll keep it low ball for the fuel, and we have also a 9.4%, and these are all documented testing in fuel economy.
Now we're talking about the overall effect. Is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I may not understand, but the overall effect of your products is the complete 100% burning of the oil and the fuel.
Of the fuel, not the oil.
Of the fuel.
Won't burn the oil. Actually, what it does, if we have vehicles that are burning oil, it would eliminate. It would reverse that. Reverse that. That's what it does, because what you have is a gap, and that's where you get the blow by from the combustion chamber down into the crankcase. So therefore, it would actually impregnate into the metal, and if you have so much space, it would eliminate that space. So therefore, it would immediately increase compression on the engine.
Now, from your last statement prior to my question, you indicated 9%, 10%, about a 20% increase in fuel consumption.
Well, I would say I keep it low ball. Low ball. That's 20.
But I mean, 20. Overall, there would be at least 20%.
Yeah. What has happened here throughout the years, and with the testing process we did there, we also did additional tests in a large fleet of buses in the upper northeast part of the U.S. and one of the largest bus fleets. In fact, what we found there, as technology become more effective, more efficient, MAXI-MIZER become more effective. So therefore, as we continue on with some of the other processes, a prime example is the DPF filters, catalytic converters. That's one thing. Catalytic converters actually can be eliminated with the use of MAXI-MIZER technology, simply because it burns complete. Catalytic converter, of course, do not work until they are warmed up. They have to be extremely heat. Therefore, in order for the metals to actually process to reburn fuel.
That's why carb likes it so well, right?
That's exactly right.